1, no, 11. This morning is our study of Abram's living in active faith. You know, it was very difficult when Abram was called by God to go to a place where God will pinpointed. He was 75 years old. Even though back then people lived longer than today, but in 75 years old is not a really easy or really young age though. And we have noticed that he had no baby, he can't have it, even though God promised, but he directly, spontaneously argued with the Lord that, Lord, look at me, look at my wife, she's barren, and then she cannot do that though, she's too old to reproduce, right? But then eventually we understand that how seriously being applied, it's not only appreciated, but being applied to his life, and then he always responds to the Lord with his living in active and operating faith. I hope that you are all living like that, One thing that we should understand, even though we are living in a different culture and different generation, but one thing that we are facing every day together is what really Abraham and Sarah faced in ancient time. And sin always still remains and is still operating, and it still tempts us to be, not to live by faith, but live by sight. Abraham was converted to live by faith. We are converted to live by faith, not to live by sight, right? That is all about Abraham's living active faith, and it's our faith actually. You know what I'm saying? That's what we know that we are saved. That's what we are saved. We are mighty in our faith. Whatever happens, we respond. Our faith. Whatever happens, we analyze through our faith. Whatever challenge we got, we always welcome. And why? We bring our faith to deal with it, which is living and active. You know what I'm saying? So do not see everything, under, above. Like God. Whatever happens, God sees from above. That doesn't necessarily mean that doesn't get it. That doesn't mean that doesn't know what he's going through. Jesus Christ, he was here. He lived through. He knew everything about our past and present and future affairs. He knows everything, right? The key is faith working through love. Faith working through love. This is how church grows. This is the thing. I want to see everybody from now on, you're very mighty in faith actually, Even though your eyes are tearful, but around your mouth still, smiling. Because we know the end. We know the end game. We exactly know the end game because Jesus showed in his path actually in his earthly ministry. Even though he was really full of suffering, he grappled and he wrestled and he wrangled with so many difficult things. Eventually, he see the what? The resurrection of Jesus Christ. Right? This is our life actually. This is our past. That's how Jesus lived with active and living faith. Hebrews chapter 5, you know that Jesus learned from his faith through suffering. Even Jesus has to learn his faith from his suffering. This is how we walk. So that's why Hebrews chapter 11 very, very important and significant. Actually, we have the same application at the same time implementation from Hebrews chapter 11. So I want you to look at verse 8 to 10. I already addressed verse 8 to 10, but then I want to take it on verse 10. But then I want to read from 8 to 9 and 10. Okay, so let's look at Hebrews chapter 11, verse 8 to 10. By faith, Abram, when he was called, obeyed by going out to a place which he was to receive for an inheritance, and he went out not knowing where he was going. By faith, He lived as an alien in the land of promise, as in a foreign land, dwelling in tents with Isaac and Jacob, fellow heirs of the same promise. He was looking for the city which has foundations, whose architect and the builder is God. What is God? Today I'm going to talk about the secret of Abraham's living an active faith. What really makes Abraham so great in his living in, operating an active faith? What would cause it to live like that, even though he was old, he was, nomadic, is unknown, very small guy, even though he was a sinner, he has imperfect life is, right? How could he live like, how could we be called as the emperor, the prince of faith, like Spurgeon being called as prince of the preacher, right? Just recently, one famous company being on the news, which is WD-40. That's WD-40, they've advertised it, right? Everybody has. I used to have one, but I lost it by, but not too long ago. It was amazing product actually. WD-40. Linda, you know what WD-40 is? Yeah. If Linda knows everything. Sorry, I picked it up. But the WD-40 can be used more than 2,000 ways. Yeah, amazing product. Amazing. You know why the product called WD-40? 40 means they tried 40 times, 39 times, at the 40th time they made it, that product. That's a WD-40, Why the WD-40 company was on the news? I'm going to read it, what reporter said. It might be very, it sounds funny and then amazing too. The recipe for the water displacing spray was in a suitcase handcuffed to the CEO as it was escorted by the armed guards in a Brinks truck this morning. The company used household product was invented in San Diego 65 years ago. They changed their primary bank to another bank. At the same time, I think they need to protect their recipe, formula, secrets, as you change their bank. That's why the CEO hired the armed guard. This product is being sold in 176 countries. The revenue is more than $2 billion. By one product. Why this one is so effective and popular? It works, and based on the secret formula. They don't want to anybody to know. Secret formula. Isn't that amazing? Right? Secret formula. Today, in verse 10, Abram unveiled his secret to be successful in his faith, which is living and what? Active. Living and active. You all know that Abram is very well characterized, which is his faith is living and active. One thing we can hit down specifically is obedience. Right? His obedience. He's full of obedience. He doesn't know where you're going. He doesn't know, what's going on outside. Full of danger. But then he just moved because God called him out. Obedience. Like Matthew 19 verse 21, Jesus said to the young rich ruler, if you wish to be complete, go and sell your possessions and give the poor, and you will have treasure in heaven, and come follow me. This is how Abraham lived. Abraham left everybody, everything to follow God. It's not really theologically oriented or theologically equipped. No, it's not like that. Just simply put, when God said, hey Abraham, let's move on. Yes Lord. Yes Lord. It's not calculated through arithmetic, which is better, which is very effective. It's very simple mind. It's not simple tongue, but simple mind. We just follow what the Lord did. And also his obedience is proven in his what? Lifestyle. What lifestyle? Verse 9. By faith he lived an alien in the land of promise, as in a foreign land, dwelling in the tents with Isaac and Jacob, fellow heirs of the same promise. This is his lifestyle. You know what I'm saying? He always choose God's word over the world. His principle isn't like this. In 1 John chapter 2, 16 to 17, for all this in the world, the lust of flesh, the lust of eyes, and boastful pride of life. This is not Abraham's principles at all. He abandoned it. If as a Christian you still have this kind of principle, then you must be more careful actually. This is something we used to have before we met Christ. Before you're converted, we complete based on this foundation. These are principles. This is primarily and predominating principles we use all the time. Whatever we choose by eyes, whatever we choose from our pride, whatever we choose from our flesh, if you keep doing like this, then your obedience may be false, and your lifestyle prove that truly your faith is not acting on living. Dead, right? Matthew 6:24. No one can serve two masters. Two masters. I mean, obviously, this English is so easy. NSB, so easy actually, right? Two masters. You still struggling? You have not killed the Goliath yet? You still not killed your Medusa, your monster yet? You still love him? Your secret hidden love? Right? And they keep doing your loving affair? Right? Abraham wasn't like that. Right? Wasn't like that. In the Lord's Prayer, Abraham's life is completely summed up in this way. Matthew 6 verse 10. Your kingdom come, your will be done on earth as it is in heaven. This is how Abraham pursued his life, to bring the will of God into his life, continually through and through. Now, people may think that, Pastor, we cannot live like Abraham. Abraham must be perfect, better than me. I cannot live like that. Right? I cannot live like somebody who is a very, active and living. But Abraham wasn't like this, actually. Abraham wasn't perfect at all, actually, right? Genesis chapter 4 verse 10 says, now there was a famine in the land. Abraham went down to Egypt to sojourn there, for the famine was severe in the land. It came about when it came near to Egypt. Sometimes he just fell, right? Sometimes he has low. Sometimes he has downs. Doesn't have always up and highs and then, going well, right? But on average, in a certain direction, right? His walk always having heavenly world. Sometimes he might hesitating, but never backsliding, never practice any apostasy, but continually moving on, like a pilgrim's progress. Same thing, pilgrim's progress. The pilgrimer, the Christian, met so many hindrances, so many obstacles, so many obstructors, so many people try to impede him, right? Holding him up, holding him up. Right? Everyone just like living like this. That's it, living like that. Now, from verse 10, the Hebrew author adds using the conjunction for, which is it is an explanation. How could Abraham be so successful in his faithful walking, which is very, living and active? Take a look at verse 10. It said, for he was looking for. He was looking for. Actually, we need to pay attention to this phrase, looking for. This is, in the English grammar, past continuous, right? Past continuous. So, when I look at this verse, we have to see two different things. First is meaning, actually. First of all, meaning. Looking for means expecting, waiting for, right? Not just waiting for without any conviction. No. Waiting for something would happen in the future, even though he doesn't know when, but he was so sure it's gonna happen. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? It's gonna happen. It was so real to Abraham. It's not happening. He was still living in tent. He has his speech still, in camp, still, staying somewhere. But he has to keep moving. But he knows in his mind, in his faith, in his heart, he knows it'll be happening someday. In God's day, God's time. That's what people often did. For Abraham was looking for. Actually, Genesis chapter 43, verse 8 and 9, use the same word. Genesis 43, 8 through 9. Judah said to his father Israel, send the lad to Benjamin. Benjamin, right? I mean, right now, what's going on is a little bit, I'm going to give you a little bit of background, right? Let me explain a little bit. I mean, Joseph said, bring my brother. I mean, he said my brother, right? Bring the youngest brother, Benjamin, right? Benjamin. That's why those other brothers went back to home and then talking and negotiating with his dad. His dad was so stubborn. Why? He knew that his beloved son Joseph was dead in his mind. So he said, no. I don't want to do that. I don't want to lose this son. My hope is in this son alone. No. Don't ever talk about it. Shut up, actually. I don't want to talk about it. Right? But Judah said his father Israel, send the lad with me, and you will arise and go. They may live and not die. As well as we and your little ones, verse 9, I myself will be surety for you. Surety. Surety means looking forward. Surety means looking forward. Now, this verse, thinking as a messianic prophecy. Judah representing Jesus. Judah here sacrificing himself. Right? Sacrificing himself. The whole family. Jesus Christ became our substitute. It happened surely. Right? Death of Jesus Christ, death of Messiah really happened surely. Right? Surely. It is similar to looking for. Surely, Abraham was surely. And then, this is past continuous means while Abraham was living, he was looking for constantly, continually, periodically, regularly. You know what I'm saying? He never ever abandoned what he looked for, which is he doesn't place his faith in the world. In the world that would be taken away suddenly, right? Suddenly, right? He placed his hope, faith, love, everything in the heaven. What is Christianity actually? What is Christian? You know what Christian is? Colossians chapter 3, verse 1 and 2. Therefore, if you have been raised up Christ, how can you forget this event? Can you forget? Can you forget Jesus' resurrection? Can you forget it? Can you forget when you're dead and rose again? When you're dead was, you rose again. Can you forget it? In this world, can you forget we once died and then luckily, unfortunately, and then, by God's grace, you rose again, you walked again. Can you forget it? Colossians chapter, therefore, if you have been raised up with Christ, keep seeking the things above. This is what Christianity is all about. You know what I'm saying? Before you met Christ, before you didn't realize the gospel, you didn't have this kind of thought. You consider people who think this way, consider as just stupid, foolish, wasting time. Since we became a Christian, because we understand this is the real thing, this is the real McCoy. Right? Everything is false. Everything is mirage, actually. Everything is false. Everything is built in the sand, right? When the flood comes, it will all, what? Shattered. Right? But this fact. So, Colossians said, when Christ is seated at the right hand of God, set your mind on the things above, not on the things that are on earth. That's why Christians' faith must be living and active, actually, right? Relentless being energized by this thought and faith and this conviction. Because I'm not alone. I am not alone. Even though I'm going through the, valley of death, I'm not alone. Thinking of Paul. Thinking of Paul. Abraham's looking up. What's the secret that Abraham to have such a wonderful and powerful and active living faith? Because he has three unseen realities. As he's looking up, three unseen realities. The first is the city. Second is foundation. Third is God. That's what verse 10 said. Verse 10 said, let the city, which is the foundation, whose architect, builder is God. Three unseen realities. Ring a bell? Hebrews chapter 1, verse 1. Now faith, the assurance of things hoped for, the conviction of things not seen. The unseen three realities. Even though he cannot see it, but he knows in his conviction, it is with him, it is here. It is tastable, touchable, it is reachable, is experienceable. Did I say? We have everything, no? We have everything provided by the Holy Spirit, by Jesus. This is very, very dangerous message for us, for every Christian. Dangerous message. Because we might think that, oh, we're not living like that. What? We're not living like that. What's going on? Right? Living like that. I don't want here to make you guilt. No, that's not my job. To feel guilt is the work of Holy Spirit. You know what I'm saying? That's not my job. I don't want to. I just want to brutally, not brutally, but accurately, directly, completely representing what the Lord says. Abraham has three different unseen, invisible realities, but which is actualized in his life continually. That's why Abraham was different. That's why Abraham was considered as a stranger. You know what I'm saying? Stranger. Even though he's rich, he didn't possess anything. Really? Not because he's very thrifty or penny holder or stingy. No. He was a well-respected man. When he purchased a land for his wife's death to bury, he said, oh, everyone's okay. Free for you. Everyone's a stranger. As a guest, visitor. Free for you. Don't care, it's okay. I was keep saying, no, I want to pay. Well, respected. Why? Abraham has three different invisible, unseen realities. The first thing is the city. Verse 10 said, the city, not all city. The city, not cities. The city, only city. You might have many cities you want to visit though, right? Right? You have many cities you want to visit. I hope that you have this city. I hope that you were looking for this city. I was thinking and expecting, and then you are so joyous because you are entering the city. When? Don't say someday. Let's not start. Right? Let's not meet the Lord in the air. The city. Listen up. Nothing belongs to me. Nothing belongs to us. I have a house. Do you think that eventually belongs to me? No, it belongs to my daughter. Or her daughter, her kid. So eventually when you look at it, it doesn't belong to me. We just stop by temporarily. Amen? Right? 1 Timothy 6:7. We brought nothing into the world, so we cannot take anything out of either. Right? This is it. We should not have this kind of attitude. Matthew 17:4. Peter said to Jesus after at the Mount Transfiguration. He said, Peter said to him, it's so wonderful. That's what he said. Peter said to Jesus, no, it's good for us to be here. We should not say that. We should not say that. I told you last time. Look at Genesis 4:16. Then Cain went out from the presence of the Lord, settled in the land of Nod, east of Eden. Very, very close to Eden. He tried to create his own city to be settled and to make like a heaven. But it's not heaven. Fake, actually. Superficial, right? Superficial heaven. That's why Cain does. Who's Cain? Not believers. Not believers. They try to use any means to make his own place, his own area, considering as heaven. And I think about, world. What city Abraham was looking for? What city? Revelation chapter 20 verse 1 said, Then I saw a new heaven, a new earth, for the first heaven and the first earth passed away, there no longer any sea. New heaven, new earth, new Jerusalem. The city, new Jerusalem. Jesus promised to his disciples before he was ascended. He said this one, John chapter 14 verse 23, which says, his father's house are many dwelling places. If it were not so, I would have told you, I go to prepare a place for you. If you go and prepare a place for you, I'll come again, receive to myself, and where I am, that you may be also. You see. The new city is not heaven. The new city will come down from heaven. You know what I'm saying? The new city come down from heaven. The new Jerusalem is here on earth. Someday, Abraham looking for that place. Not heaven though, right? The new city, New Jerusalem. The question is it real actually? Or is it imaginary? Was someone like a Abraham was so suffering a lot and going through a hard time, and then when we hard time we always say, Lord Jesus come, but not now. You always say, Lord Jesus come, we always really going through hard time and we cannot endure much. Oh, I want to really rapture, even it's not serious though, right? It is real place. Bible says it is real. Let me prove some, with some evidence, right? Let's really corroborate together, okay? Revelation chapter 20, verse 12 and 13. He had a great high wall with 12 gates. At the gate, 12 angels, and names were written on them, which are the names of 12 tribes of sons of Israel. And the wall of the city, 12 foundation stone, and on them were the 12 names of the 12 apostles of the Lamb. The book of Revelation is very, very hard to interpret, actually. That's what people consider as a sort of like a symbolic. Of course, there are many symbols. But there is a historic aspect too. 12, stones, 12, gates, and 12 apostles, 12 tribes is a historic fact. Acts chapter 1:11. They also, men of Galilee, why do you stand looking in the city, sky? The Jesus who had been taken up from you into heaven will come in just the same as you have watched him go into heaven. When Jesus ascended, do you believe Jesus' resurrection is actual in historical? Then must be his ascension is historical and actual too, right? Hebrews 11 verse 16. But as is they desire better country, there is a heavenly one. Therefore God is not ashamed to be called their God, for he has prepared a city for them. City for them. Better country. Back then, the audience of Book of Hebrew were severely persecuted. When John the Apostle wrote the Revelation, he was exiled into island called Patmos. They're looking for better country. As John saw, as it is real and factual. Real city. Just recently, not recently, last Saturday, I had a little time to watch TV, which is really National Geographic. The topic was Atlantis. City of Atlantis, which is many people thought and thinking and claimed that the city might be submerged, drowned in the ocean, but they don't know which ocean though, right? And then the guy with the director who made the movie Titanic, they really cooperate together. They cruise to find a place
They stopped by at least 4 places, but every expert said this is the place where Atlantis was drowned and sunken. But then they have no conclusion. Hey, this is what Wikipedia said under the matter of Atlantis. Atlantis is a fictional island mentioned within an allegory on the hubris of nation of Plato's works, which is Plato's writing called Republic. But fictional, people believe in this fictional island. Listen carefully. The first public and then the original public, written by Plato, people say, they assume actually, and then the copy and the original, the gap is 1,250 years. But the original is gone. People believe that based on the copy, there's an island called Atlantis. Then why not believe in the Bible? The gap between the original and the first copy only 60 and 70 years apart. Right? Only 60 and 70 years apart. People say, "Oh, Bible is written by man." Do you believe in the news written by reporters? Right? Do you believe in some scientific observations written by scientists? Do you believe that? Right? People say, "Oh, Bible is written by human beings." Of course, written by human beings. But we believe some reports, some news. We believe that. Right? We believe some books written by man. Why not the Bible? Inspired. Just a footnote, how big is the New Jerusalem actually? John Mack said this one, quote, "Were the city to be superimposed on the present-day United States, it would extend from Canada to the full Gulf of Mexico and from Colorado to Atlantic Ocean. Obviously, God will design the new city, Jerusalem, with plenty of room for the older redeemed." Size of United States, actually. So to speak. Right? It's huge. New city. Real city. Why Abraham looking for the real city, the city of Jerusalem? Because over there is full satisfaction you never ever experienced. Did I say? Why people divorce 2 or 3 times easily? No satisfaction. Why people keep moving? No satisfaction. Revelation chapter 24 verse 4. He will wipe away every tear from their eyes. There will no longer be any death. There will no longer be any mourning or crying or pain. The first thing have passed away. The first cause of death. The cause of death, the first one passed away. This is a new city. You know? Why Abraham looking for the new city? Because there is security. Daniel chapter 5:30 says, the same night Belshazzar, the Chaldean king, was slain. You know what happened back then? On the same night he was slain, he was holding a party. Why? He completely depended on his fortified city. Roman historian Herodotus said the city was passed by a river. River was surrounded the city. You know what I'm saying? That's why no one can even pregnate it. No one can even penetrate it actually. The king and other people never thought that. The height is almost higher than 300 feet. The width is more than 80 and 90 feet. Huge city. It's a huge fortification actually. It's stronghold. No one thinks that the Cyrus Great, the Persian king would invade and then conquer the city. What happened? Many operation. God proposed, you die tonight. No defense. In this world, no defense. In this, no security actually. Just not long ago, here, her name is Wendy Martinez. She was an avid jogger actually. One night, he was jogging in Washington, D.C. And the report said the place is a really safe place. No crime, actually. She was killed. Stabbed. We're living in this kind of world. No security. No security. We don't know what's going to happen. But what happened in heaven, new city? Revelation chapter 20 verse 9. And they came out on the broad plain of earth and surrounded the camp of the saints, beloved city. The fire came down from heaven and devoured them. And 20 verse 20 verse 15. Outside the dogs, and then sorcerers, immoral persons, and murderers, and idolaters, and everyone who loved and practiced, they cannot come in. They cannot come in. Right? The city was surrounded. There's a huge wall not to be penetrated. Safety. You know what I'm saying? And then, what is it? One more thing I can share. Not only safety and satisfactory, and what? This is our final city. How many people like to move every year? Do you like moving? One Facebook friend, he posted, since I got married, I moved 7 times. He's 20-something. 7 times. And then people respond, sad, surprised, on his Facebook. No one likes moving. Everyone kept moving. Never thought, no more moving. This is my final, perfect, satisfactory city. Amen? But then he had to enter by what? By faith. That's why his faith must be active and living. Do you understand what I'm saying? You understand what I'm saying? Why do you want to insure something else than this city? You don't have to take effort to grab it, but you need the faith to get gifted it, to get received by faith alone. That's why he was looking for this city. Isn't that amazing? Isn't that amazing? Almost 4,000 years ago, there's no systematic theology at all. You know what I'm saying? No systematic theology at all. I was really disappointed with one guy. He's a young man. He went to very good, Bible college. And then when I looked at and heard of his life now, it was totally sad, actually. Even though he knows something. By the way, he's not living in LA. He's living in East Coast. Really, I talked to his mom last Friday, and his knowledge got hindered by himself, actually. It's living like non-Christian, to be honest with you. Even though he knows. Right? What does it mean? His faith is not active and living. Do you know what I'm saying? His faith is not active and living. Abraham, no systematic theology, no biblical theology, whatever. He simply held on to the Word of God. And then simply he kept moving with God as he expected the city, which is real, which is actual place. Amen? That's that's how Abraham made it. has made it. We are living in a boredom, actually. Boredom. People so easily get bored. In the beginning, they don't like heterosexual sexuality, and they commit adultery. And then they say, oh, let's do homosexual. Oh, it's boring, it's bisexual. Oh, it's boring, queer. Oh, it's boring, transgender. People keep moving. Why? You know why keep moving? They have no city, the central city in their lives. Right? They're unleashed. They're not tagged. Right? They're not tied to the city at all. Keep moving. Why? They try to keep finding the city. They might think it is the place they're gonna rest and rely and trust. Eventually, they disappoint again and then looking for another city. Looking for another city. Amen? This is what's going on. But what is sad is among Christians too. Even though they have their own possession in the New Jerusalem, but they act like they have no possession. Full of anger, full of disappointment, full of ignorance, full of fear. That's what they have. That's how their faith got killed by those things. Anger and disappointment and ignorance. Even though God is good, right? Even though God is good, but then they worry about because God has not answered what they desired, actually. Right? That's why they depend on their self-reliance. They depend on something that is to be taken away. Many Christians like that. They disappoint. Oh man, I prayed so much, but God didn't listen to me. If they think a little more careful, cautiously, they understand why He has not answered everyone's prayer. If you will consider, if you have a little more close relationship with Him, you understand why He has not answered for you. Full of anger and disappointment. Because they have no city. If there's no city, which is their faith is fake or their faith is not working as it's supposed to be. How is faith supposed to work? Living and active and operating. That's the first responder. Whatever happens, we must respond with what? Faith alone. Amen? Faith alone. Remember, man, faith alone. We respond with faith alone. Responding with faith alone means God gets involved. You allow God involved. You ask God to involved. You invite God to involved in your marriage. That's what it means living by faith. And then we dare to enjoy whatever the fruit we might get. Amen? Right? Because God involves, and that's what God do actually. Right? God do. And then we just got it. Happy, joyful. What else can you expect actually? You know? If God gives you anything more than that, what would happen to you? You get prideful. Right? Think about it. When you plan something, you get something more than what you expected, and you guys say, oh man, look at me. How smart I am, you know? I do 1 and 2, and then I got 3 and 4 and 6. That's what God wouldn't want you, doesn't want to give that kind of thing actually. But we're disappointed. We forgot to be humble by that. Think about it. Where's your city? I'm asking a question. Where is your city? City on earth or in heaven? Right? That's how Abraham lived out fully, completely. Let's praise.